The following is an overview on how to detect a scoring for the subdomains using the DAYC assessment. This is done in 4 steps. Looking at domains physical and communication. Each domain has 2 subdomains. The physical domain contains the subdomains gross motor and fine motor, while the communication domain has the subdomains expressive language and receptive language. Step number 1, finding a raw score. Let's determine the raw score for the subdomain gross motor. Count the points between the basal and the ceiling to get your raw score. Remember that a true ceiling is the set of 3 items scoring 0 closest to the basal. In this case, the raw score will be 31. Then, do the same for the subdomain fine motor. Here, the raw score is 17. Raw score for gross motor, 31. Raw score for fine motor, 17. Step number 2. Convert the raw scores we just found into standard scores. Use the DAYC scoring guide to do the conversion. Select the appropriate table for the age of the child. Find the raw score for gross motor and line that up with the standard score column. In this case, the gross motor raw score is 31, meaning our gross motor standard score is 62. We do the same for fine motor. Since our fine motor score is 17, we see then that our standard score will be 83. Standard score for gross motor, 62. Standard score for fine motor, 83. Step number 3, add the standard scores. If we add our 2 standard scores together, we can determine our combined standard score. In this example, it's 145. Our last step, step number 4, we will then use converting the sum of the subdomain standard scores to determine our domain standard score. Once you have your combined standard score of the subdomains, we'll use that number to find a standard score for the domain. In this example, the standard score for the domain is 73. Standard score for gross motor was 62. Standard score for fine motor was 83. Thereby, our overall physical standard score for this child will be 73. This same chart can be used to find the overall communication standard scores with these same steps we just explained.